Hello and welcome to AFGROW COM Automation Capabilities tutorial number 2. In today's video we're going to show you how to create a simple spreadsheet that interacts with AFGROW by allowing the user to insert certain prediction parameters such as the stress multiplication factor, the loading condition, the model type, and the initial crack size in both the A and C direction. We're also going to show you how to have AFGROW return the number of cycles to failure in a cell. For this spreadsheet, we're going to have 4 total predictions. For the first stress multiplication factor value, we're going to have a value of 10. The second value is going to be 15. The third is 20. And the fourth is going to be 30. For all 4 predictions, we're going to have constant amplitude loading. The model number is going to be 1030. And to learn more about the different model numbers, just download the COM manual at afgrow.net. And the initial crack size in both the A and C direction is going to be 0.05. Next, we need to insert the command button for the spreadsheet. Under the Developer tab, go to Insert, and under ActiveX Controls, select the command button and drag to create the command button. And as long as you're in the design mode, you can move and resize the button however you like. Let's go ahead and double click on the command button to open up VBA. First, whenever we're using AFGROW with VBA, we need to reference it first. Go to Tools and References. Make sure AFGROW is checked and select OK. Next, we need to set a variable for an AFGROW application. Under the left drop-down menu, select General and type in Public with events. And we're going to use A as the variable. And let's set it as an AFGROW.application. Next, we need to declare I as an integer. I is just going to be our row index for the spreadsheet. Now we're ready to go to the command button. Let's go ahead and rename the caption Run AFGROW. For the first event, we need to set I equal to the row where we first inserted our first values. If we go back to the spreadsheet and look at where we inserted our first values, it's in row 3. Next, we need to set A equal to a AFGROW variable. And when we click the command button, we want AFGROW to be visible. So like I showed you in the last tutorial, type in a.visible and set that equal to true. Finally, we want the button to call run, and run is just going to be a sub that we're going to define later in the code. Now we need to set the predict finish parameters. In the left drop down menu, select A, and the predict finish sub should pop up. For this sub, we're going to tell AFGROW where to return the cycles to failure. And if we go back to the spreadsheet and see that the first cell in the cycles is in row 3, column 7, and to tell AFGROW to put that in that cell, we need to type in sheet 1.cells and insert the cell index, which is I for row 3 and column 7. And we need to set that equal to the double cycles. And since we have 4 total predictions, we need to iterate I, and to do that we need to set I equal to I plus 1, and we want to do that as long as there is a stress multiplication value greater than 0. So we need to make an if statement, and the first stress multiplication value is in cell I, comma 2, and that needs to be greater than 0, and if so, we want it to call run, else we want AFGROW to close. We need to end our if statement. Now we're ready to define the sub run. Just type in private sub and name it run. And this is the sub where we're going to tell AFGROW where the prediction parameters are. If we go back to the spreadsheet, we see that the first stress multiplication factor starts in row 3, column 2. The constant amplitude loading starts in row 3, column 3. And the model type starts in row 3, column 4. And both the A and C initial crack size starts in row 3, column 5 and 6. And to set the prediction parameters equal to the cells, we just type in A dot, and the first parameter is the stress multiplication factor. Then we set that equal to sheet 1 dot cells, and type in the cell index, which is I, comma 2. We do the same thing for each parameter. And you should always set the model type before you set the initial crack sizes, because AFGROW's default model is the internal through crack, which does not have a crack in the A direction. So if you set the A direction before you set the model type, you will get an error message. Finally, we need to run a prediction, and the function we're going to use to execute the prediction is a.runPredict. Now we're ready to see if this works. Let's go back to the worksheet and make sure you're out of the design mode and click on Run AFGROW. You should see AFGROW run 4 times. And you should also see the number of cycles to failure in each cell. That's it for this video. To learn more about AFGROW's COM automation capabilities, visit afgrow.net, and under the Support tab, select AFGROW related documents, and here's where you can find the COM manual and the COM automation presentation.